You are Locked On Astros Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Houston on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
A nice and easy victory for your Houston Astros tonight over those Miami Marlins. 9-1 the final. The Astros getting back to a season-high 4 games over 500, keeping pace in the American League West with the Seattle Mariners as they stay a couple of games back in the division standings. Welcome into the Locked On Astros Postcast tonight. I am so happy to be here with you guys as we are all in our return to normalcy, hopefully sooner rather than later for most of you. From Hurricane Beryl, I, of course, like a lot of you, had no power yesterday, had no power all day Monday. We ended up going, I don't know, like 60 hours or so without power. It was rough. We were one of the lucky ones. We got early on hands on a generator that I was able to buy down in Victoria, Texas, that my wife's family brought up to us. And we cooled one room. And we had a refrigerator. I know that there's a lot of you out there, and even some of you might be watching tonight that don't have power still. Thank you for using whatever battery you have on your phone to watch. I do appreciate that, and I hope, seriously, that all of you are safe and trying to stay cool. I mean, I've had the power back now since 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock this afternoon, just after 4 o'clock, and my air conditioner it's doing some work. We're milking it down as slowly as we can, but that thing was at 86 degrees when the power kicked on today. That's what we said the temperature was in the house. So I know how hot it is. Again, I hope you guys are staying safe. If you're watching without power, I hope that you get it soon. And let's talk some Astros baseball. Fun game tonight, which this show tonight, by the way, this Locked On Astros postcast here on a Wednesday night, is brought to you by Prize Picks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use code all lowercase LockedOnMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. 9 runs in the baseball game. And you love these games from this team when they go out there and they put it on somebody early. We've all watched baseball forever. We know how important it is to get yourself an early lead in a baseball game, to put the other team on their heels. And tonight, doing that, especially when Framber is on the mound, on a night where Framber should feast. We'll talk about Framber here in just a little bit. I want to give him plenty of love, kind of break down, because that's the end of his first half of the season. Now, I know, technically, again, this is not the first half of the season coming to the end. That was a while ago, so they're past the 81-game mark, but obviously next week they're going to have the All-Star break next week up there in Arlington. So, I'm going to assume Jordan isn't going to be there. So there's that. That was one thing in the game you did not love. He apparently left with right hip soreness, did Jordan. He was one of many guys that just crushed the baseball tonight, hit the baseball hard left and right. They were just, I almost felt bad for Hoeing out there. First of all, he's got an unfortunate last name. Now, look, he gets the last laugh. He's pitching in the big leagues. I'm not. I'm sitting here talking about him. But I'm assuming that he probably got, some jokes growing up. Between him and Cronin behind him, man, they were – not only could those guys not do anything to execute pitches, they also couldn't do anything they could not do anything in terms of fielding their position. Both those guys. I mean, Hoeing sailing one down the first baseline, and then Cronin trying to throw it back to the plate against his body like a ding-dong. Like, you have to have situational awareness in that spot as a pitcher and know that, one, you're a pitcher. You're not an infielder. You're not that great. Most of them aren't that great at fielding. It is the elite of the elite athletically that are good at fielding their position there. Simple as that. It's just crazy that those guys go out there and make those plays. And it was those two guys were terrible tonight. Absolutely terrible at doing it. It's benefited the Astros, benefit as well that they were pitching because they smoked baseballs left and right as a team tonight. That was the nice thing. As something that we've not talked a lot about with this baseball team so far this season when we've done these shows, they have played some pretty incredible baseball at home. They're on an 8-game home winning streak right now. The Astros, a team that last year won the American League West and had a losing record at home. It was the first team in I heard the stat recently. I think it was like the first team in 19 years or something that had pulled that out, maybe even longer than that. But it had been a significant period of time since a team had won their division and had a losing record at home. And, to be able to pull that off and then turn around this season, a lot of it's fluky, right? Baseball is such a just fluky sport to put together. Weird things happen every day. Like tomorrow they could go out and play. We've watched the Marlins for 2 nights in a row. I know that now look, I didn't get to watch the game last night without power. I just didn't, you're sitting here and honestly, in this is the room we actually stayed in our house because this room is usually the coolest because it gets no sun at any point during the day. It's just kind of always hidden. So we moved everything in here and we were staying in here. But the coolest we could get it down to with our little portable AC unit was 76. And I just had no desire last night to even get on my phone to try and, find the game on a website or whatever. So I didn't watch any of it. I just kept up with it through Twitter, through the game day. I didn't even listen to it on the radio, and I love listening to it on the radio. I didn't even do that last night. But they snuck by last night. I do know that. I got the gist of it. I know that you guys, there's been some people out there that have not loved my Brian Abreu takes at times. And I'm telling you, I keep telling you, he's giving you all the evidence in the world when you watch him in those games. When he goes out there and he can't get through innings cleanly. Just can't. But we've watched the Marlins now for 2 straight nights. And, I know that this is a team that the Astros see in spring training a lot because they're right up the road in Jupiter, Florida. They share the facilities with the Cardinals there. But this team is not good, to be nice about it. They are awful. They have a few players that might bring them some value at the trade deadline, which I'm assuming that they will go out and go ahead and probably execute trading away, just so they can, replenish their farm system with players that they'll eventually trade away again because they're Miami Marlins. And you think about if you put together the list of franchises that in sports in general that are never going to do anything. I know that they have 2 World Series titles. 97 and 0. Was it 03? Was the other one, or was it 97 and 01? Now that's bad. I should know this. Beckett was one of them, and the other one was 97. 97 they won for sure. Why am I blanking on the year? Was it? It wasn't 03, was it? But it was 01. That was the year of 9/11, and they beat the Yankees, I believe, in that one. But overall, just the 2 most fluky years ever for the Miami Marlins, which were the Florida Marlins at the time. Underrated uniforms at the time. Underrated color scheme. These new ones, they're no good. They should go back to the old stuff. But they're not a good franchise. They're an awful franchise. Nobody cares about them down there. Nobody goes to their games. It's never going to change. Their ballpark is new, but honestly, it's weird. It's newish. It's not really well done. It's kind of cheap looking. It's kind of cheap feeling when you're in it. And look, you could attract players to play there if you had the right ownership group. Here's the thing. Athletes love Miami. They can't get it done. But I'm saying all that to say this. The Astros should just absolutely crush these guys. Period. End of story. And tonight they did. Tonight they went out there and they absolutely crushed them all night long. Hitting the baseball hard, like I mentioned. I look at this, the tweet Brian McTaggart sent out during the game tonight of the exit velocities. The Astros had hits that went 104.5 off the bat from Joey Loperfido. Or excuse me, Yainer Diaz. 106.2 from Loperfido. 107.1 from John Singleton. 110.1 from Loperfido. 114.4 from Yordan Alvarez. And all of those, or the hardest one of them all from Jordan was actually a single on the ground, which is just scary when you think about it, how hard that man is capable of hitting a baseball that he can do it. And you know what I really like on nights like tonight? It's not just one character getting in on the act. It was multiple guys. I mean, he didn't drive anything in, but he got on base a couple of times. Altuve at the top. Bregman, another strong game for him. You love to see his numbers continue to rise. He loves it for his free agent case, but the Astros love it for the benefit of this baseball team winning. Jordan, of course, before he came out with the hip soreness, I'm going to guess there's nothing to be freaked out about there. Cabbage hit a baseball hard. Yainer Diaz, 3 for 4 tonight. 3 more runs batted in. You got to give Yainer Diaz some love as well. I know that I dogged him a lot early in the season, and he was worthy of it. He just got off to a dreadful start after a while, and he wasn't doing anything at the plate. His batting average is way down, and he doesn't walk at all. Now, he still doesn't walk at all. His on-base percentage is not good at .312 for a .286 hitter. But quietly, Yainer Diaz has driven in 48 runs this year. I know that a lot of that factors into where you're just simply positioned in the lineup, but you also have to go do it. And he did it again tonight. And I do think that he deserves some love. You got hits out of everybody that started tonight, correct? Yes, you got hits out of everybody that started tonight except for Mauricio Dubon. It was just a good night up and down the lineup. Against a team that you should do this against consistently. And to me, those are the kind of things that, early in the season when we complained and went through the trials and tribulations of the team being just gosh awful, where they're just going out there making mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake. These weren't the things that they were doing. They were going out there on those nights and they weren't winning baseball games or taking care of their business against teams that they should absolutely beat up on. And that's the difference here. And I think that is something that if you want to kind of write the story of the first half or write your narrative, your narrative for how you feel about the baseball team, I think that nights like tonight, I don't want to say more so, but they hold a lot of weight to me when you're supposed to win. That you go out there and do that. It's kind of been the calling card for years. That's why, look, most great teams, when they're great, they win the games you look at and you go, they should win that game. They do that. Now, the Astros, of course, have to get better against teams that are better, and that's changed recently. But you add all those things up, and you get the good things happening like they have, and then again, they're back to 4 games over 500, which ties the season high mark. Chance to get it to 5 tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit about that. It being a must sweep for the Astros tomorrow. I can't do the must win anymore. Must sweep? We'll do it a bit. Let's give Framber Valdez some love. A man that everybody loves to hate at times. We'll do that next year in the Locked On Astros Postcast. All right, guys. Summer travel is heating up, and the place to get yourself in gear when it comes to your summer travel is with Booking.com. This Locked On Astros episode tonight is, of course, brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.yeah. As I mentioned, we're heating up with the travel and getting on the road, watching your baseball team. Plenty of opportunity to do that still this summer when the Astros hit the road here. I've said this once. I've said it a few times. They've got some great trips coming up in this second half of the season. It starts off with a bang, too. Honestly, I'm telling you, go see that ballpark in Seattle. Go see Seattle. The weather's fantastic there. I really enjoyed my time there, and I got to Seattle using Booking.com. Booking.yeah. When we booked that trip back in the day to chase them over there in the postseason. You can get to any American League city, any rival city, by using Booking.com. The right stay can make you a fan of any U.S. city, even your rivals. So booking that today on Booking.com or on the site in the Booking.com app. One more message for me real quick before we get back to our Astros discussion here on the Locked On Astros Postcast, and that is for the Game Time app. Have you downloaded this app yet? Well, why not? You want to get into an Astros game. Say you're on the road there. Well, you can do that by going over and using the Game Time app. Say you travel to Seattle, like I said a minute ago. You go watch the Astros and the Mariners. You need to get tickets to get in. Get the right deal with the Game Time app. I'm talking last-minute deals on tickets, flash deals, zone deals. They have you covered all the time. Those priority last-minute deals can save you up to 60% off buying last minute, whether it's sports, concerts, comedy, theater, so many great options. As I mentioned, the flash deals as well helps you save even more with exclusive in-app deals on select seats ahead of the game or the big event. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, slowest price guaranteed. Locked On Astros Postcast here on I honestly had to go and look at what day it was. It's Wednesday here on the Postcast. Thank you guys for popping in, saying hello. If you're new to the channel, of course, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We would greatly appreciate that. To those of you asking about Jordan in the comments as we do this show live, they are saying that it was right hip soreness was why he left. I don't know that there's any reason to freak out about it. The Astros had that game in hand already. You take him out, you move on. Let him get his rest. I'm telling you this, he and Altuve both, I'm going to be surprised if we see them head up to Arlington to play in that game. Maybe they'll go. Probably not. I mean, why would you go necessarily? Just if you're not going to play, sit at home with your family instead of spending a couple of days if they're in the Dallas area. Unless you just, you want to take in the All-Star festivities. But those guys have done it plenty of times now. Of course, Altuve, more than anybody else in the franchise history. He's pretty darn incredible with that. And then Alvarez done it a few times now as well. But we'll see. We'll see if they decide to go to that or not. I just always prefer, especially Jordan, or really both. I can't say especially Jordan. You always prefer both to go ahead and, be healthy, right? They need those two guys to win baseball games. Let's give some love to Framber Valdez now. I have defended him when he needs to be defended. I have ripped him when he needs to be ripped. Overall, he's the guy that gets the Astros fan base up in arms more than anybody else on this team. And it all, again, goes back to who he is and what he's done and what he's capable of, which is being the staff ace. And tonight is one of those nights that you go watch him and you say that. Overall, he finishes his first half of the season with the Astros this year at 16 starts. Oh, hold on. I accidentally closed his dang page. Doing this on the fly. I had to open all my pages again because, my computer died and I hadn't plugged it back in yet. The Astros starter, Framber Valdez, 8-5, 16 starts, 3.66 ERA, 98 and a third innings, 82 strikeouts, 1.28 whip. That number's got to come down a little bit. Walks this season are at 32, so probably about average pace for where he was, last year. Batting average against is a career high, or I should say the highest since his second year in the big leagues, where he pitched, a significant amount, or I should say a decent amount that year. 260 against him this year. But this is a guy that overall, 10 out of the 16 times that he has taken the mound on the season, he has provided the Astros a quality start. And quality start is nothing to laugh at all. It's something that we all know that matters to a baseball team because, you go out there and you get quality start after quality start after quality start, you're going to win a lot of those baseball games. So, again, I know that he can be a big-time head case. And he can be very frustrating to watch as a fan of the baseball team. But you have to give him love when he is deserving of it. The praise that he is deserving of. And I'm never gonna be a person that's on board with making him the most polarizing player on the team when it comes to the hot takes and whatever. I can't do it. He's too good for that overall. It's just a simple fact. He's not bad. It was Jose Abreu, and as soon as Jose Abreu left, of course, somebody else has to get it. It's just like every year you can go back and find him. For me, a couple of years ago was Mauricio Dubon when he came over. That was my guy. I don't really have one this year, I will say. It'd be Chas McCormick, but they don't play him enough anymore. Like, I can't even complain about him. I mean, I am going to complain that he's had a god-awful year, and, the Astros have been hurt by him not being able to do anything this season. That's been a problem, but, I can't even make him my punching bag. Simple as that. Okay, again, I always like to watch the comments as much as I can. To VZ Love, who just sent one in, trade Tucker, get pitchers. No. Hard pass. You don't trade one of your best players, and they're not even entertaining that. I promise you that. I don't even have to guarantee you that because it's not a possibility. We got a lot more to get into. Tomorrow's game being a must sweep. Be nice if they could throw Framber out there again tonight. Which, by the way, 7 innings tonight, season high for Framber. 10 strikeouts. 10 strikeouts for Framber in the baseball game, giving up just the 1 run in this one tonight. Did walk just 1. And then good on Mr. Ort coming in and having 2 scoreless innings behind him with 4 strikeouts and no walks. Good early impression for him in a couple of outings with the Astros so far this season. Let's get into the tomorrow's game. Must sweep? Is it a must sweep for the Astros? We'll talk about it next here in the Locked On Astros Postcast. Why haven't you downloaded yet? If you haven't. If you have, congratulations on you being smart. The Prize Picks app, because the Prize Picks app is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. It's the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports, and it's unlike any other apps. On Prize Picks, it's you against the numbers. I've played a lot of Prize Picks, like I've told you guys, is on my phone. I think it's fun. I think it's a great way to, make a couple bucks here, make a couple bucks there, make the games interesting. Look, I'm not going to win every time. I know that. It is what it is. There's going to be some times where I lose, where I get my picks wrong, but that's okay. I'm going to go back out there tomorrow. We dust off. We do it again. And it's just as much fun the next day with Prize Picks. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000. Prize Picks is available in more than 30 states across the country, including Texas, California, and Georgia. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code LOCKEDONMLB on Prize Picks for a match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Locked On Astros Postcast here for a few more minutes on a Wednesday night. Thank you again to all of you stopping by and talking, or at least hanging out, maybe even getting into the comments, whatever. Appreciate you guys. If you're watching this and you don't have power, I truly, truly, truly hope you get power back soon. If you do have power, if you did lose it for a period of time, like I did, you know that, well, it's very nice to have, and I have never been more grateful to have it back than I am right now. Centerpoint in Houston is not having a good week this week. It's nothing against the workers that are out there busting their backsides. Appreciate them doing what they do. If you know any of those people, love on them for us. And again, I hope you guys get power back. There was nothing better than that feeling this afternoon when at 4 o'clock it just came on. And it's just like, oh, thank you. So we're still trying to. The house is still slowly working its way back down. Last time before we started the show, it was down to 78. It was 86, and upstairs, 91 degrees in the house. I mean, absolutely insanity. And we had thank God, again, we had a little portable AC unit because I have a portable generator that I was able to get. If you got the money to invest in it and just get that, do it. I'm never going to get rid of that thing now because I'm not going to get caught flat-footed on this ever again. So again, hope you guys are well, hope you're safe, hope you're trying to stay cool, whatever it is. Thanks for stopping by and spending some time with us. Hopefully bring you a little bit of, distraction from it. What's been going on here in our great state of Texas this week. Astros tomorrow, not a day game. It's a getaway day, technically, but not a day game. Part of me kind of wishes it was a day game tomorrow. Sorry, my dog's over here biting at himself. You got to quit biting at yourself. 7:10 first pitch. They're going to give the ball to Jake Bloss, who's back. He's going to pitch probably about 75 pitches. He's going up against tomorrow Roddery Munoz, who's 1-3 with a 5.48. I don't even care that Bloss is a rookie and has very few pitches at the big league level under his belt. Tomorrow's game, they should win. Like we were talking about earlier, just like yesterday. It's a game that the Astros should win. It's a team that they are not nearly as good as the Astros. In fact, they're one of the worst teams in all of baseball. And we keep seeing why. They don't, I mean, look, you know the difference. We watched the Astros when they were really, really bad and then to when they got really good. What's one of the biggest telltale signs of a bad baseball team? Defense. Look, I'm not just talking about the pitchers tonight. Jazz Chisholm is an exciting player. He's fun for the game. He's good for the game with the kind of flair that he plays with and everything. He's not a good center fielder. That team, again, just not good. That was their 60th loss already this season for the Marlins tonight. They are a half game better currently than the Colorado Rockies for the worst record in baseball, which doesn't matter anymore because the MLB decided that they needed to have a dumb draft lottery. You'll never get me on board with draft lotteries. I just won't. If you're the worst team, whether it's intentional or not, you should get the first pick in the draft. I think it's the only way to do it. But, I don't make those rules. It's not my decision. So I will say yes. Yes. Thank you, Jason. I knew I was mixing my years up. I don't know why I was thinking the Marlins 1-01. It was 03. I should go on my gut at first. I think I said 03 initially. Yeah, the Diamondbacks in 01. But I think back on it, the Marlins franchise, how they pulled off winning 2 World Series, mind-blowing. And then both times, they basically trade the entire team away after doing it. You talk about just god-awful ownership down there. That's been their history. And that thing is just, it's never going to change, period. End of story. So tomorrow night, of course, when we get done, hopefully the power stays on. It's been good so far. Power stays on. You guys, hopefully more of you get your power back. And we will continue to do this show. Of course, if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. We keep on climbing. I haven't even looked at where we're at because I have been, not really in tune with everything with the power being out. But, we hit the 1,300 mark. Thank you so much for helping us hit the 1,300 mark on these subscribers. Let's keep climbing. 1,400 will be here before we know it. So hit that button. Share it with all your family and friends. Let them know that, hey, when we got nothing else going on, let's watch this show with this guy with his red beard talk about the Astros after they win a baseball game tomorrow. So, again, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow night after Astros and Marlins. Stay safe, stay cool. Talk to you then here on the Locked On Astros Postcast.